Hello YouTubers, welcome to today's episode. We've got a cycle today and we've got a lovely weight session. Not sure which order, let's get to it. Oh, I missed. We've made it into the gym, we've got some squatting to start with. Oh yeah, let's get to some slow-mo gym stuff.
Soon I can't wear any other colors. Posters covering my walls, but they fall down. Diving deeper in the books that we read blind. Breathing in and breathing out to get smarter. Not working out for me, yeah. Got no money on my mind, tell my mommy I'm alright. Even laughing at the jokes you tell me. Keep myself inside the lines, neat and tidy all the time. If you ask me, I am fine. Got no money on my mind.
And a pretty good session in the weights room. Very sweaty. Some guys doing an ergo, everyone in lifting weights because the gates train doesn't stop. Now it's time to fuel up. Alright, let's get to it. And we've made it into the crew room after an awesome weight session with big Frank Mendez. How are we doing, Frank?
We're doing outstanding, delightful.
Oh yeah, that English is coming on great. Now it's time for some egged bread toast.
Food is fuel.
And now it's time to fuel up because food is fuel. So let's get to it. And now we've had breakfast, we've fueled up. Now time to use that fuel on today's cycle. Oh yeah. And we're in the crew room after a wonderful bicycle, roughly 2 hours of trying not to explode, trying not to crash, trying not to fall off and other types of bike related mishaps. But now it's time to fuel up. Because food is fuel and that was a pretty big session. Really good day of training. Let's talk about some cross training. And we've made it outside of the new house. Let me just adjust this a little bit. And, like I said, we're going to discuss cross training. Is it too sunny? Not really. I've got my hat on, but it actually is not cold. Maybe I'll take it off. No, I'll keep it on. Cross training for rowing. So there's a couple of big points about cross training with rowing. One of them being just varying up the program, and another one being sort of working on things that could apply to rowing from cross training. And now this can be taken into any other sport like running, cycling, boxing, anything. That is what cross training is. Cross training is, you can just take that to any sport, and that's what you're trying to do. Like a lot of people that row, I know, do cross country skiing, they do cycling, running, lots of different things, and the things that apply to you may not apply to me or the next person that may have similar questions to you. So cross training for me is really a big deal when it comes to making a program, especially during sort of the winter training, or for my sport, the period of time where you're spending most time indoors or the most time just doing big mileage. So when you're able to cross train, you can change the boringness. You can just flip things around a little bit to make it more exciting, to make training that bit more bearable, and then mentally you can stay fresh and then keep yamming on it every day. So like today we had the cycle, and so a cycle for us today was over 2 hours. So for me to get that benefit, or to that training benefit for 2 hours on the water or on a rowing machine, that's pretty difficult. That's sort of, we're looking at 40k on the water, on the rowing machine, so you're thinking, or on the rowing machine, on the water, depends what you're doing. But really, it's getting the benefits, the fitness benefits, the training benefits in another way to refresh the mind, and then to take it from that different cross training aspect across to what your main focus is. So for me it's rowing, for you it might be a little different. But really for cycling, for me, I think is awesome for cross training for rowing, especially when you hop onto like a watt bike. So on a watt bike or on outdoor bike, or the road bike or whatever bike you're on, for me, the legs burn very quickly. So you go off, you set off on your ride, and then pretty quickly your legs are burning. And then when you go up the hills, oh my goodness, they're on fire. But on the rowing machine, for me, since I'm a little bit more efficient, the burn doesn't happen very quickly unless I'm going like full yam. And then that means that I'm getting the benefit for cycling. Since I'm less efficient at it, I'm probably getting a bit... Remember, this is not purely based on science. This is just my opinion. And having the legs burn that little bit more, that little bit longer on the bike can translate over to the rowing machine. So when the legs do burn, I know that, oh, remember that time I was on the bike, they burned for like 2 hours and I still kept going. Whereas in the rowing machine, I'm probably going to be on for less time than that and say, oh, I only need 5 minutes more, let's go. And so that's a big thing for cross training for me, is getting those big sessions in outside of rowing. But really, cross training can be anything. It can be me going on a run and I can put in some sprints in there, or I can go long distance and all that sort of stuff. And it's making, you can still make fitness gains outside of rowing specifically that can transfer over. So like I said, the biggest one for me anyway, cycling is massive, because you don't have to be, so for running, yes, it can cross over with rowing. But for me, I am not exactly built like a runner, so it can be quite difficult for me to, not difficult, it can be more taxing on the body to go from on the rowing machine in a boat and then go out for a run. The knees, especially if I'm not used to it, the knees, the hips, the back, etc., just take a while to get used to it. But when you look at going on the bike, it is a different story. Yes, you might have aches and pains or that just by learning or doing something a bit different, but there is much less impact. So on that front, it is a bit easier for the body to deal with, and then you can just go yam on it up those hills or whatever you're trying to do. Like I said, a lot of people go cross-country skiing if they're rowing during the winter months. I have tried it. I am hopeless at it, so that's me, and it could be great for you. And other sports as well. For rowing, I think it's really, it doesn't have to be a specific sport. A lot of people ask me, okay, what specific sport works best? And like I said, I said cycling is a really good one, but I wouldn't say that's best overall. I think it really depends on you. It depends on what you're trying to do. And as well, you don't want to spend so much time cross-training, because really you have your activity, you have your sport, and then say as a plane flies over, you have your sport. And if say I'm doing more than 50% cross-training, what is my sport? Is it, for me, is it rowing, or is it whatever I'm cross-training on? But that is it, I think, for the cross-training discussion. Let me know in the comments below what you feel cross-training does for you, or what your favourite cross-training activity would be. And I know a lot of people that may watch the vlogs aren't necessarily, so the cross-training isn't so much cross-training, it's more just like doing an activity. And that's awesome too, and varying up your different exercises can really keep the mind fresh. So maybe you could give it a go. You can go, if you're rowing just now, maybe you can give cycling a go. If you're cycling just now, maybe you can give rowing a go. And then you can say like every other day do something different, but not too different, because that's another issue with cross-training. You want to be specific to your activity, and then cross-training can take away some of that specificity. So depending on the time of year, you don't have to be so specific at certain points. But when it comes to racing, I want to be very rowing specific in fitness and technique and all that. So that can completely depend on you. That is completely individual, and that has to be looked at as an individual. But that will be it, I think, for the cross-training for rowing or any other sport for today. Awesome day's training today. We had some weights, we had the cycle, I blew my doors off. We do a few hills, and then the last hill I got dropped by the guys, and I had to just push on with my sister was there as well, so it was just us two in the last 10k. Awesome cycling. We almost got her Queen of the Mountain on Strava, but not today, maybe another day. And as always, Yam Squad, Speaking of Yam Squad, still on the website. Hopefully get it up soon so we can get those pre-orders in for those shirts. Oh yeah. Remember, subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. Hit that like button down here somewhere and have a good one.